Who here considers themselves a leader?
I knew that to maintain my integrity as a leader,
Characteristics of leaders
I had to take responsibility.
who are thriving and what they do differently.
Welcome to the Everyday School Leadership Supported podcast series. My name is Fran Palukai, and in this series, I speak with school leaders from across Europe about a variety of topics based on research cards developed by Loes van Wessem, Rieneke Pruis, and others. These research cards function as practical tools that you can use to tackle everyday challenges within your organization. Welcome everyone to this podcast episode in which we are going to be talking about the role of the internal supervisor coordinator in helping the teacher give better education. Since we have large and diverse groups of children who all have their own personal challenges and goals, it can be difficult for a teacher to provide for every child's need. I am joined today by Santi and Dianne. Santi, you are currently a school teacher, and Dianne, you used to be a supervisor coordinator. So maybe we can start with you. What does this subject bring up in you?
Well, for me, it was quite a hard job because you feel responsible for all the children in your school. And in my case, the school was about 600 children, so it was quite a big school. But then I realized that I'm not responsible for the children themselves directly, but more responsible for the teachers. So then I saw the teachers as my class. So that was a mind shift, and it helped me to do my job well. Yeah.
And then how would you help a teacher?
Well, they would come with all kind of questions to me. For example, about a child who has behavioral problems. They would ask me, well, how can I help this kid? And would you observe him in class and give me some feedback on my teaching skills? But also for the whole school, if there was a problem, let's say for the results in mathematics, and then we would have an analysis about the results and would look for the problem and try to fix it. So it's a very broad function in school.
So you would help the teacher understand the student better.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, and help them to understand themselves.
And Santi, in your school, do you also have an internal supervisor coordinator?
Yeah, and I admire your work because it's a very difficult work. Because as you have said, teaching other teachers, it's very difficult because sometimes teachers are not open to other teachers to tell us how to do our work, and it's very difficult. And it's very important to have a good treatment of the diversity, because our students, I won't say the modern education, but the actual education is focused on the student. Maybe other educations in past times it was more unified, but nowadays we tried all of us try to focus on the student, and it's very important to take into account this diversity.
So how can a supervisor engage with the teacher in such a way where the teacher doesn't feel attacked or judged, but actually feels supported?
Yeah, it's very important, the behavior, the character of the person who is doing this, because he has to know, she has to know, and they do it very well because they know the teacher needs some advices, some support, not some direct instructions. And it has to be very, very fluid, very, very kind. And teachers normally they see that it's important also, but when we have in class 20, 25 students, it's very difficult for us to focalize in every diversity in our classes.
And how is that for you? How would you approach a teacher?
I think it's also about your coaching skills and responsibility, because I'm not responsible for the well-being of the children, and I don't have all the knowledge. I wish, but I haven't. And I think when you have a conversation with your teacher, there's a lot of knowledge in the teacher, and when you try to where you try to, take it out. So you have a conversation, coaching conversation, and it's more on the same level. Like Santi said, it's not you give the teacher instructions. That's not the case. You just have a discussion about what could work, and you try to find a solution together.
And as a supervisor yourself, how would you like the school teacher to help you?
Well, I think that's what I just said about looking for a solution together is one of the main important things, because it's vice versa. It's also the same case when they come to me for help or I come to them for help, because I also need their expertise on a child, because they see this kid every day in class and I only know the kid from paper maybe. And so we need each other's help and we need each other's expertise to make a complete picture of the child and of the problem.
And how is that from your position? How would you empower the supervisor?
As she has said, it's not the empower. It comes because teachers see that it's important, and when they interact, they see it has a good results in their classes. It's better that direct communication with all the teachers, and they see it's good for the classes, because our students nowadays they have it's very important, the emotional treatment of the students, because without a good emotional structure we can't teach maths or language or technology if the students are not in a well position and emotional situation. Yeah, and teachers, I think we know we are seeing this. We are proud of this is very important, and we need the figure, and we will need more of them for working in the schools, I think.
So earlier you mentioned that it's a hard job, an admirable job also. What would you do if you were in the shoes of the supervisor for a day?
Well, I'm not expertise in this camp, but I think it's very important to talk with the students, with the teachers, and talk. As she has said, it's not we sometimes don't have all the information, all the knowledge, but sometimes it's so easy as to talk and find a solution, and want the willing to find a solution, and it's the key. Talking, yes, communication.
Yeah, it's the same case with supervisor and school leader, because you work as I don't know if it's a word, a tandem in English, like the bicycles for two people.
Yeah,
we
that's
say
very
so.
Dutch.
Yeah, it's very Dutch. I know, but I think that's a good metaphor for how a school leader and a supervisor work, because you need each other. And as a supervisor, I wasn't able to do my work as well as I did without my supervisor, and maybe even vice versa, because he has the knowledge about, let's say, finance and regulations and everything. And I have more the knowledge of the development of the children, and then combined, you can make the complete picture, I think.
So, last thing before we're going to round up, I want to give both of you the opportunity to ask the other person a question or maybe give a piece of advice.
Yeah, I think I'll give an advice and when you choose for a development track, like an education, team education, I think it's important to be there together. So a school leader and a supervisor, and you start at this point and you go through the development together, and not one by one, because you form this duo, or sometimes it's even trio, and then you'll be able to stand strong and to point out where you're going to in your school.
And I think maybe, and not an advice, but we've seen that the pandemic has been it's been terrible for the youngsters, and also for all of us. But the emotional behavior of the students, it's been touched by these days, and it's very, very necessary to have a real conversation with our students, and we need more time to not to also teach, but to focalize in their emotional wellness, because it's very important, and we think it's a problem nowadays, and it's better we have to start our house with this emotional wellness of our students, and then we will construct a better education. But we have to focalize first of all in this, and we will ask all the governments, if they listen to us, to have to put us more funds in this kind of education, because it's basic.
Perfect. And where can people find you online? Do you have a website or maybe a personal handle that you would like to share?
Well, as Judith has said, as an association of schools, ADSL, we are in the social media, and you can find this.
Yeah, you can find us on avs.nl, and there you can find all kinds of training for school leaders and supervisors as well. Maybe helpful.
Dianne, Santi, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
And go catch your train.
Yeah, we will.
You can visit esha.org/headstart for more information on the research cards and the guests of this episode. This podcast was an Esha production. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.